It's 6:12 in the morning. He wakes before the alarm. He always does. Not because he slept well, not because something called him back, simply because his body has learned, long ago in ways he can't explain, that rest is a performance with a set end time. He lies still for exactly 90 seconds. He doesn't check the time. He knows. Then he rises, and the day begins, precisely as it was designed to. He makes the coffee the way he makes everything, precisely. The water temperature, the bloom time, the pour, measured and even. 8 minutes of something that looks, from the outside, exactly like care. He sets the cup on the counter. He picks up his phone. By the time he remembers the coffee, it is cold. His apartment is immaculate, not because he loves order, because disorder creates a noise inside him he has never been able to name. Every surface where it belongs, every object in its place. He built this life the way he builds structures at work, load-bearing decisions checked and rechecked, every element serving a purpose. From the outside, it looks like a life that is completely under control. From the inside, it looks like a blueprint, precisely right, faintly inhuman. Today is Tuesday, 2:14 p.m. Dr. Lewis. He has been going every Tuesday for 3 years. He packs his bag with complete precision, the same way he packs it every day, and stands for a moment at the door. He doesn't know what he feels about Tuesday. He knows what he thinks about it. Those are different things. He hasn't realized yet that they are different things. On the train, he opens the notebook. Small, dark cover, blue ink, his handwriting precise, unhurried, bullet-pointed. He prepared this last night. The themes of the week, the patterns he noticed, the feelings he identified. He is a very good client. He is perhaps the best client Dr. Lewis has ever had. He reviews his notes the way another person might review a presentation before a board meeting, making sure the delivery will be clean, making sure nothing unexpected will slip through. The waiting room is warm. There is a white noise machine by the door and a clock above the reception desk. Daniel sits upright. He does not look at his phone. He does not reach for a magazine. He sits with his hands in his lap and his back not quite touching the chair, as if at any moment he might be called upon to stand and perform, which, in a few minutes, he will be. The session begins the way it always begins. Dr. Lewis asks how his week was. Daniel tells her, clearly, accurately, in organized sequence. He describes the difficult conversation he had at work, the dynamic at play, his own pattern of response, the childhood origin he had already identified. He uses words like cognitive dissonance and avoidance pattern. He is articulate, precise, and genuinely insightful. Dr. Lewis nods. She says, "That's really perceptive, Daniel." He says, "Thank you." He means it. He also means absolutely nothing by it. Somewhere around the 20-minute mark, his chest tightens, not dramatically, just a quiet pressure, the kind that has been arriving and departing for months without being invited. His voice does not change. His posture does not change. He is mid-sentence when it happens, describing, with impressive precision, why he doesn't feel connected to his own life, and his chest tightens, and his breath becomes shallow, and his hand grips the armrest just slightly, and his voice continues on without him. He converts it, automatically, into language. "I'm experiencing some anxiety about this." Dr. Lewis nods. His chest remains tight. Near the end of the hour, Daniel says something that isn't quite true. Not a deliberate lie, just a small smoothing. The version of the story that is easier to deliver, less messy, more coherent. Dr. Lewis nods. There is no friction, no moment where she reaches past the words and touches the thing underneath. He feels, in that moment, two things simultaneously. Relief that the session is almost over. Despair that even a professional, in 50 dedicated minutes, cannot find him. He thanks her the way he always does. She smiles. He collects his notebook. He does not go straight home. He never does on Tuesdays. He sits in the parked car with the engine off, the dashboard dark, the street outside moving without him. This is the only place in his entire day where he is neither one thing nor another. Not a professional, not a client, not a person who has explained himself well. Just a man in a car, alone, with 18 minutes of nothing in front of him. He grips the steering wheel. His face is completely still. He spent 50 minutes today talking about his life. There are 167 other hours in this week. He does not know what to do with them. He paid for the 50 minutes. He budgeted for it. He tracks it the way he tracks everything, carefully, looking for the return. 3 years, 156 sessions. He is, without question, the most articulate version of himself that has ever existed. He feels nothing that he didn't feel at the first session. He eats, mechanically, efficiently, without tasting it. He opens the refrigerator, looks at it, closes it. He turns on the television. A documentary about something that has nothing to do with psychology or emotion or the interior of a human being. He is grateful for this. At 9:30, he picks up his phone. There are messages he has not answered for 2 days. He reads them, sets the phone face down. He composes a reply in his head. It is warm, thoughtful, exactly right. He does not send it. He wakes at 3:15. He does not check the time. He knows. He lies in the dark and does not reach for his phone. He simply lies there. There is no spiral of anxious thought, no identified worry to unpack. He has analyzed those thoughts so many times that they no longer arrive with content, just the weight of them, pressing. His brain knows he is safe. His body is not convinced. The week passes. He works, he walks, he commutes. He attends a lunch with colleagues and says exactly the right things and returns to his desk feeling, as he often does, as if he watched himself from across the restaurant. A friend texts, "You okay? Haven't heard from you." He types, "I'm good, just a busy week." He is not lying exactly. He simply does not have the language for the truth. And for a man whose entire survival strategy is language, that is a very particular kind of terror. Sunday evening, he opens the notebook and begins to prepare for Tuesday. He stops, looks at what he has written. The familiar patterns, the identified triggers, the named emotions. He has written variations of these bullet points for 3 years. Somewhere underneath the practiced analysis, a thought arrives, not for the first time, but louder this time. What if this is not working? He closes the notebook quickly. The question feels like a betrayal of Dr. Lewis, of the process, of himself. Because if it isn't working, there are only 2 possibilities. The therapy is wrong, or he is, and he cannot bring himself to believe the first one. Second Tuesday, he arrives. He sits. The notebook is in his bag. He does not take it out. Dr. Lewis says, "How was your week?" He begins to answer. The words come out exactly as rehearsed, organized, insightful, appropriate. He describes the dread that arrived Sunday evening. He names it accurately. He identifies its likely origin. He situates it within the pattern he and Dr. Lewis have been exploring for the better part of a year. He is, once again, performing therapy with the precision of someone who has studied the performance. He is mid-sentence when it happens. He is explaining, eloquently, calmly, why emotional disconnection is a learned survival mechanism, and how he understands intellectually that his childhood experiences created an environment where, and he hears himself. Not the words, the voice. For a fraction of a second, the voice sounds like someone he has never met. Composed, competent, completely empty. He stops. The pause is almost imperceptible. Dr. Lewis does not notice, but something in that pause, something quiet and irreversible, changes. He has been describing the fire. For 3 years, he has been standing in the burning room, making careful notes about the temperature. He thanks Dr. Lewis. She says she will see him next week. He nods. In the corridor, he moves quickly, the walk of someone who is trying to blend back into the anonymous city before something surfaces. Outside, the afternoon air is cold. People move past him. A bus pulls away. He stands very still for a moment. He does not have a word for what just happened in the session. And for a man whose entire life is built on having the right word, that is the most frightening thing that has ever happened to him. He walks. Not his usual walk, the efficient route from one fixed point to another. He turns where he turns without deciding. He crosses streets without agenda. He has not done this in so long that it takes him 8 minutes to stop waiting for himself to produce a destination. He has spent 3 years trying to think his way out of something. He has maps for the inside of his own mind more detailed than most people will ever have. And it has gotten him precisely here. Walking without a plan, in a city that doesn't care, not knowing what comes next. He finds himself at the edge of a park, not the manicured kind, benches at intervals, paths clearly marked. The other kind, overgrown and uneven, with trees that lean at angles that were never designed, and long grass moving in the wind, and no particular reason to enter. He enters. He doesn't know why. His body does. He just hasn't listened to his body in so long that he doesn't recognize the difference between his body deciding and his mind deciding. The wind is coming in hard from the north. He cannot calculate the wind. He cannot outline it or describe its origin in a way that changes the fact of it pressing against him. A branch moves overhead without being asked to. A bird lands and leaves without narrative. He stops walking. Everything around him is continuing, the grass bending, the sky shifting, the trees adjusting, and none of it is waiting for his analysis before proceeding. He cannot narrate his way into control of this. There are no words available. His chest tightens, not the familiar managed tightness he files away as some anxiety, something older, something that has been waiting behind the correct vocabulary for a very long time. For the first time in 3 years, he does not reach for a word. He stands in the wind, in the wet grass, in the uncontrolled world, and he lets the tightness be exactly what it is without naming it. He doesn't know what he is doing. He doesn't know that this, exactly this, is the thing that no session has been able to begin. And then his body does something his mind did not direct. It isn't dramatic. He does not collapse. He does not weep. It is a breath, one breath, that goes somewhere it has never been, down past the chest, into the belly. The kind of breath his body has been attempting for years that his vigilance has always interrupted. Something physical moves through him and leaves, not a thought, not an insight, not a realization he could put into a bullet point. A sensation, the first genuine one in a very long time. He stands in the park, in the wind, in the golden line of breaking light, and does not know what just happened. His body knows. He sits down on a fallen log at the edge of the tree line. He does not take out his notebook. He does not begin to articulate what just happened so that he can bring it to Dr. Lewis on Tuesday. He simply sits. And in the sitting, without the organizing and the naming and the careful architecture of self-explanation, something becomes clear. Not in words. In the way a room becomes clear when you stop rearranging it and let your eyes adjust. Here is what Daniel does not yet have language for. The mind is exceptional at understanding wounds, at locating their origin, naming their pattern, tracing their effect. But understanding a wound and releasing it are not the same thing. They use different instruments entirely. The mind lives in language, and trauma, the kind that lives in the body, in the nervous system, in the held breath and the white-knuckled steering wheel, does not speak the language of language. He has been sending letters to a place that does not have a postal address. For 3 years, he was not failing therapy. He was delivering the right message to the wrong door. He was not broken. He was speaking the wrong language. He is not broken. He was never broken. He is a man who was taught very young that composure was protection, that the boy who could explain the situation was the boy who stayed safe. He learned the lesson completely. He performed it for decades. He walked into a room designed to help him unlearn it and performed it there too. No one was wrong. Not him, not Dr. Lewis. The tool simply did not fit the job. And there is a particular grief in that. In all the time, the Tuesdays, the notebooks, the cold coffee. But there is also something else. The smallest, quietest sense that the door is not locked. It was just the wrong door. There is an understanding that predates psychology by millennia, that the mind and the body are not a hierarchy. That thought is not the highest form of knowing, only the loudest. In ancient India, practitioners of yoga understood what Western medicine is only now beginning to measure, that the body holds its own intelligence, that when the breath changes, the whole system shifts, that presence, bare, wordless, physical presence, is not a weakness of the mind. It is the doorway the mind cannot open from the outside. Some things cannot be thought away, they can only be felt through. He stands. His trousers are damp from the log. He does not check his watch immediately. He walks back through the park the way he came. Same path, different man. Not a different man. The same man, with one new thing. An awareness of the difference between his mind talking about his body and his body actually speaking. It is a small awareness. It will take time he cannot yet predict. He is not cured. He is correctly oriented for the first time. He finds the car. He sits in it. The dashboard dark. The street outside moving. Same ritual. different interior. He does not grip the steering wheel. He does not know what Tuesday will look like now. He does not know what he will say to Dr. Lewis, or whether the conversation that needs to happen next belongs in that office at all. He does not have a plan. He is a man who always has a plan. He is aware of this, and he does not move to fix it. He breathes. One breath, the kind that goes somewhere. He is not fixed. He has not arrived anywhere that has a name. But for one breath, he is simply in his life, not narrating it from across the room. Present, physical, real. The door, for the first time, is the right door. He has not walked through it. He is standing at it. That is enough for tonight.